The Speaker, I beg to move the following resolution, signing my name. Whereas provided in Section 63(1) of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 15.0 on the Act, that the Minister of Finance may, by an affirmative resolution of Parliament, borrow from a bank or other financial institution for the capital or current expenditure of government. And whereas it's further provided under Section 64 of the Act, that money borrowed by the government must be paid into and form part of the consolidated fund. And whereas the Minister of Finance considers it necessary to borrow an amount of US $2.343 million, the loan from the Caribbean Development Fund to finance the implementation of the Community Tourism Program. And whereas the loan is payable in 12 years, commencing from the date of disbursement of the loan, inclusive of a grace period of 2 years, and whereas the loan is repayable in 40 equal, approximately equal and consecutive quarterly installments on the 40th day of March, the 40th day of June, and the 40th of September, and the 40th day of December of each year, over 10 years, after the expiration of 2 years, and for the date of disbursement of the loan. And whereas interest is payable at a rate of 3% per annum, be it resolved that Parliament authorizes the Minister of Finance to borrow an amount of US $2,243,908, the loan from the Caribbean Development Fund to finance the implementation of the Community Tourism Program. Be it further resolved that the loan is repayable in 12 years, commencing from the date of disbursement of the loan, inclusive of a grace period of 2 years. The loan is repayable in 40 equal, approximately equal, and consecutive quarterly installments on the 40th day of March, the 40th day of June, the 40th day of September, and the 40th day of December of each year, over 10 years, after the expiration of 2 years following the date of disbursement of the loan. Interest is payable at a rate of 3% per annum. Mr. Speaker, this loan, Mr. Speaker, that the Minister for Tourism will basically expound on, Mr. Speaker, is to borrow from the Caribbean Bank for the Community Tourism Program, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Community Tourism Program is based on a philosophy that the benefits of tourism must accrue to as many people as possible. We believe that the only time that the people of St. Lucia or the people of any country will truly understand and will truly be able to protect the industry, Mr. Speaker, is when they benefit from it in the pocketbooks. And that is the purpose of the Community Tourism Program, Mr. Speaker. It is seek to enhance free air, Mr. Speaker, the Dennery Fish Fry, the Parliamentary Representative Dennery will be very happy to hear that, Mr. Speaker. A seamless experience at Pralle Bay in Miku. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you know where Pralle is. The Mon Lay-by in Kashi, Mr. Speaker, and again, the Mon Lay-by Kashi, Mr. Speaker. You know, history has a very fond way, sometimes cruel, of history has a way of coming back, Mr. Speaker. You know, the Mon Lay-by, I remember one day when I was Minister for Tourism, Mr. Speaker, tourists used to go and stand in the Mon area there to overlook the beautiful city of Castries. And when the tourists wanted to use the washroom, the taxi driver says to go over there. And the tourists used to walk and say, go over there, go over there, go over there. And they walk in to find where there is, but there's no there, there is a bush. Because there were no toilet facilities in that area. So when you tell the tourists go there, is the bush you're heading for. And they couldn't understand how there was the bush. So we came to the cabinet, and the Prime Minister was, the Mayor was Prime Minister, and we spoke about building some toilet facilities up in that area for the tourists to use. And then we got that going, Mr. Speaker. Then we also had a little space for the vendors. And our other government, Mr. Speaker, I don't know if I'm right, we put the facility that was there, Mr. Speaker. So we did it, our government did the toilets, and the other government did.
We did everything.
Huh? The viewing deck, yeah, was done, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, that was again history, and right now we are back to renovate it and make it look nicer, Mr. Speaker. History has a way. And Mr. Speaker, all how they try to deny the history will come back, Mr. Speaker. You can't keep a good man down. You can't. And these things are coming back, Mr. Speaker. So that's the Mon Labor in Castries, and the other one is the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception and the First Martyr Shrine in Castries. Mr. Speaker, do you know that the cathedral is a historic building, Mr. Speaker, for lots of historical value? It's the same with the prison. The old prison was a historic. You know, Mr. Speaker, this misinformation and this lies and these inconvenient truths, to quote someone, that we in St. Lucia don't want to deal with, Mr. Speaker. Do you know prisons are historical buildings? Prisons are part of the history of a country, the nature heritage, the heritage of a country, Mr. Speaker. There are countries in the world where the president's palace is in a prison, an old prison, Mr. Speaker. Prisons have a value. But when they come to tell you about 80-year-old buildings have historical value, but it's to fool people, to mama guide people, to bluff people. Old buildings, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there are institutions, archaeological and historical societies in the world that look to redo old buildings, Mr. Speaker, to make them a site, with the architecture. If you look in places like London, you see these buildings are built with our labor, with our slave labor, Mr. Speaker. These buildings are built and they are preserved. But he comes and talk about old building, denigrating St. Lucians, old building, Mr. Speaker. So that's what we're going to be doing in the cathedral, a martyr shrine, Mr. Speaker. And again, Mr. Speaker, I remember again. Now, I wouldn't say that because it was this government, Mr. Speaker, and this Prime Minister who, when the church was redoing all its arts and its culture and its painting, Mr. Speaker, we made a contribution, didn't we?
Yeah.
All right, we made a contribution, Mr. Speaker, to enhance. Again, history. You know, Mr. Speaker, it's really a good time to be labor, you know. It's a good time to be labor. Really, it's a good time. It's a good time to be labor, Mr. Speaker. Because again, when we were enhancing the church, Mr. Speaker, it was this government that helped the church. We encouraged them, and we never played politics. The member for Viewford South was very clear that there'll be absolutely no political connotation. That's the nation, Mr. Speaker. And right now, under Labour again, we are creating a master's shrine at the cathedral, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, very soon from now, we are going to be demolishing the old courthouse. Very soon from now. If you go there now, you'll see the air conditions and windows, some of them are being taken off. But Mr. Speaker, look at how we do our business, Mr. Speaker. I instructed NIPRO to write the National Trust to inform them that we are going to be demolishing that building and come and discuss with us if there is anything, any picture inside, any chair, any artifact that they would like, so we can't destroy it. That's how we do our business. We wrote them to preserve that patrimony, the patrimony that they say is your pocketbook. That is how, Mr. Speaker, that is the way we run our business, Mr. Speaker. So very soon, Mr. Speaker, you will see demolition happening in the old courthouse building. Mr. Speaker, for the building of an architectural pleasing house of justice for the courts of St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. Very soon, Mr. Speaker, we don't talk. Only what they talk about is plans they had. Plans. They had plans to build some hotels. They had plans to have 23 islands. They had plans for Pearl of the Caribbean. But we are showing it what we are doing, Mr. Speaker. So that cathedral will get added prominence. Because that cathedral is a historic site. Tourists already go there to view the architecture, to view what's in there, Mr. Speaker. So that money is going to be used for these purposes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the minister will expand, Mr. Speaker, as his Honorable House to support this rather meaningful resolution. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.